There is a mistake that every artist makes, almost every artist makes, and it's slowly destroying their confidence and their artwork. And that is comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is super destructive. And that's a topic I do want to touch on here. Um, as I continue working on this alien slug mosquito creature. It's the head to this body back here. Um, I went a little phallic and a little more, as to say, spicy. It's a little spicy, but I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to figure out what the inside of the mouth is going to look like here. Um, but why would do we do that? Why do we compare ourselves to others? Basically, comparing either our unfinished work or not our best work to others' super polished artwork. You know, we take a look at somebody and they just blast out a beautiful drawing or painting or sculpture, and then we're just like, oh man, that's amazing. Why do I suck so much? We shouldn't be doing that because we're basically comparing ourselves, or I should say, comparing our worst unfinished work to people's polished, highlight reel worthy artwork. And that is super destructive to our brain, you know? It hops inside our brain and just our brain takes a shit on us. I don't know why our brains are such assholes, honestly. They're such dicks to us all. And they're always thinking negative. You know, especially when it comes to yourself. Just trying to get this mouth looking a little like something. There we go. We got to keep in mind that we all have an invisible learning curve, I should say, right? Not everyone learns at the exact same pace or in the same way, right? Curve. Some of us either go like this and we slowly get better, or it's more like up and down. Some people are just, naturally more gifted and they just learn super quick. It's insane. It's insanity, I say. Absolute insanity. And I will not stand for it. Well, I will, or else I'll go crazy. But we all have our learning curves, right? We all start somewhere. And we do not see the struggles a lot of artists go through. Like practicing anatomy, the bad anatomy that we practice, right? We don't see people's bad art, sketches or sculptures. We only ever see the good stuff because that is the stuff we compare ourselves to, right? Kind of liking this. I'll have to get in there a little bit more and really round out some of these areas, but I'm just trying to lay in these guidelines here for this worm guy or leech guy. Our skill timelines, they differ wildly. Like, we're not all gonna learn the same, like I said. We assume that our skill improves at the same rate as others, right? Like, I don't know why we think like that, because everyone learns at different rates. But we assume, like, okay, I started the same time as this person. We're gonna, go at the same pace and learn at the same time. But, some people learn faster than others. Like, the reality is, people, they practice different. They get a routine. Some of us are a little bit more lost in the wind and maybe we're not sure what to do. Maybe that other person that started the same time as you, maybe they're taking courses or something. They have more intensity when it comes to learning and practicing as well. I want this to almost look like a sucker. Like it's gonna, it sucks onto you. I was thinking teeth, but I feel like this guy's definitely more fleshy flesh than anything. But yeah, we all have different backgrounds, right? We all learn differently, grow up in different places, so that it might affect, how we learn as well. Um, Other people have advantages. Art school, some of us are self-taught. I'm self-taught. A lot of artists I know are self-taught. So we don't really get that the education or being put in an environment to succeed, or to, like, we if you're going to college to learn art, then you're going there and you're on like a schedule, and that's the thing you're doing for however long you're going to be there. Some of us have family lives, we're self-taught. We can only study when we have the time, which is usually not a lot of time. you know so some people do have advantages, but yeah, it might not be fair, but that's just the hand we're dealt, and just gotta adapt and try and figure out what's gonna work best for us when it comes to um, learning and trying to advance our art. And one of the worst things that comparison can do is that comparing yourself to others kills momentum. It hurts your output. Of There's overthinking, there's hesitation. Like, should I be doing this? Did I pick up the wrong medium? Why is everyone else so much better than me? Why does their artwork look the way it does? And I've been doing this longer. I should be more further ahead than this person there. And then, you stop doing art. Maybe you don't feel inspired anymore. And it just kills you, right? It's just that mindset. It's such a toxic, brutal mindset. Sometimes it might feel like you're behind as well. I mean, I felt that way before, for sure. I didn't start really doing art until I was I'm 36 now, right? So it would have been like 3 years ago. I like dabbled in it on and off over like years. And yeah, it wasn't until like 3 years ago I decided I'm gonna jump in on this and follow my passion. Because art is something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to make creatures, and it just took me a really long time to figure that out. And when I finally took that step, I did feel like I was behind the eight ball. Like, oh man, if I would have started this in my teenage years or in my 20s, I'd be so much further ahead than I am now. But, I didn't. That was a different me back then, different kind of life, and at that time, I didn't realize this is what I wanted to do. My mind was somewhere else at that time. It can really turn inspiration into discouragement. And that can really hit you deep, real deep. It's toxic. It's like, that's amazing. I'll never do that, right? Where that's toxic, a healthy approach would be more like, that's amazing. I want to learn that. I think if you can really change your mind to try and start thinking more positively, like when it comes to comparing yourself, I think you'll find art a lot more enjoyable, to be honest with you. I'm liking the way this mouth is looking, but I think I may have taken off too much of one side here. And it's not looking as like lippy or poofy in this like lip area. But I gotta add some more clay to it and then take it away. Try not to get discouraged. You know what I mean? When I'm looking at other people's art, there's so many artists I follow and that I admire. And there was a time when I would look at people's art and just be like floored. Like, wow, how'd they do that? And then my mind just drifts off to be like, well, what's the point of continuing your art? You'll never be like that. That person has been doing this for a while, and you're just starting in your 30s. Where do you think you're going to go with this? And it started to snowball, obviously. Another big thing, I don't know if really anyone's ever touched on this, It's the social media distortion. Now we all know social media. It's a ficky little bitch, ain't she? Yeah. Platforms, they amplify work. You only ever see the best stuff on there. You don't see people's like, hey, here's a sculpt I did, but it's ass, you know, or I started this sculpt, but I hated it and I took it down, or I started this drawing and the proportions were off, the anatomy was all wrong. Like, you never see the bad stuff. It's always the best angles, the best lighting, the finished work, and that's all we're seeing. It really shows failed art pieces, the ugly phases of art. We all mediums have their ugly phase. Sculpting is probably one of the worst for that, because you start sculpting something and it just looks all wrong, but you gotta trust the process and you gotta go through it, and usually 98% of the time it works out, I think. But you never see the learning struggles either, right? Like, people learning. Like, I would love to see that, where you follow somebody's journey through their art, and yeah, you see like their accomplishments, but I think it'd be a lot, or I guess it would be a lot more beneficial to show, your failures as well, because when you fail, that's when you learn to grow. That's when you start to get better, right? Everyone's ugly phase is hidden. Progress blindness, right? We all have progress blindness. We improve gradually, so we really don't notice that when we're learning and we're teaching ourselves, or being taught, and we're working on our art. We never really notice if we've gotten better over time, unless like you're keeping a sketchbook or pictures, and then you can look back and be like, oh, I have improved. But usually, we don't see that progress, or we don't pay attention. We might still think we're at the same level, but you, us, me, we have progressed. So remember, progress is gradual. You build up. Sometimes you'll dip because you get frustrated or something's not working out. You fail, and usually that progress skyrockets a little bit more because you learned something new, right? You went through the shit and you came out the other side not as shit. Maybe a little rain fell on you and some of that shit washed off. But I mean, it's all part of the progress, man. But stop comparing yourself. Just stop it. It's doing you no good. So I'm gonna say this to you: stop comparing yourself to others. Try and get the mindset of being inspired, and just do your own thing, man. You're gonna get better, right? If you put the work in, you're gonna get better. That's just how it is, right? You're learning. So you got this. You can do this. I believe in you, and you should believe in yourself, right? All right, let's try and finish this guy.